Hi, my friends. Happy Monday. So good to see you guys all today. My name is Summer, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the greatest man in the world and the greatest little girl in the entire planet. Her name is Gabriella. Well, someone thought enough of you to share this information with you guys tonight. So congratulations to you for all of that. My husband and I do this together. We're 100% in this together, but there's so many amazing, crazy things that are happening right now. And I can't wait for all of you guys to hear this information tonight because it's really starting to give people their lives back. That's what I'm so passionate about, is giving people their lives back. See, I was a burnout medical device rep, hoping, wishing, wanting, praying that something would come into my life when it came to my health, when it came to some time, when it came, because I'm working 80, 90 hours a week. And when it came to even putting some extra money in my bank account, I was craving something, community, some of those amazing things that people, this is about people. Strangers become friends and friends become family. So welcome to the very first day of the rest of your life, you guys. Without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to the greatest man in the world. He is the one who shared this with me, gosh, over 8 years ago now, and it's been such a blessing, not only to our family, but to so many families. So I'll pass this over to Rob. Congratulations, you guys, for being here. A huge businessman, owned 11 conventional businesses, hundreds of employees, but just as burnout as I was, and he was looking for solutions to some of the questions and the answers that he was looking for. So it's so great to see you guys. We'll see you soon.
Hey guys, good to see you all on. I know there's a bunch of people from back east. Actually, we're here in Vegas, and I have a good friend here that just reached out to me and said her cell phone's not working. So I guess there's something going on with Verizon around the country, but I've found a lot of people actually even tonight that have reached out through emails saying that they can't jump on tonight, or they've reached out. They're not even being able to reach out on their phone. So I don't know what's going on with that. We had that issue here with our internet for about 2 weeks. So good to see you all. I won't keep you on very long tonight. I just it's the last day of the month, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. Like exciting. I've seen people go from making around 13, 14,000 a month to around 25, 26,000 a month just today. A lot of people are making 6, 7,000 a month, making around 13, 14,000 a month just after today. And so I'm excited. That's why I want to get on this, go through here, give you some information. If anything I say interests you, just get with the person that got you on. I'll make myself available for I usually do it for about an hour or two after this call, for about an hour, because there's so much going on right now. But I'm excited. Probably the most excited I've been in business in a long time. And you heard my wife. I came from a medical background first. I was in medicine for about 10 years. I hated it. Walked away from medicine about 20, 21, 22 years ago. Worked for the FBI for about 3 years in Portland, Oregon. Hated that. That was the worst job I ever had. And I just knew that I needed to be an entrepreneur. What I mean by that, I knew that I needed to own my own business if I was going to get anywhere I really wanted to be in life. And I needed to control my finances. I couldn't let anybody else control my finances, especially not the damn government. And so I just became an entrepreneur. I started buying companies, starting companies, investing in companies, and I just learned. I didn't know how to do any of it. I just got around people that were really good at what they were doing, and I learned from them. And so this all started for me and this venture about, like Summer said, around 8.5 years ago. I met a doctor in Montana, just approached me on a river and just said, Rob, I'd love for you to be my business partner. Now, that was weird. I was partners with doctors and other businesses. This is what I hated about it, is because I was in medicine. I had a pretty decent business background, but I would work a lot, and I would split 50-50 with them, and I was doing about 80% of the work. And I didn't like that. That kind of bothered me. So I thought, okay, I got to be a solopreneur, right? Where I'm just going to go out and do it, and I'll hire employees and blah, blah, blah. And I was really successful at it. I've had 30 companies in about 25 years. I've sold 29 of them. I got good at it, but I failed along the way many, many times. But when this doctor approached me, it was literally probably the lowest point in my life. My oldest son, DJ, died in my arms that year, about 6 years prior. He died in my arms. Prior to that same year, my son passed away. I was divorced after 19 years of marriage because I was never home. Guys, I had 11 companies and over 400 employees and a TV show. I was never home. And I was paralyzed for about 4 months. I got hit by a car in Sacramento, California, walking across the street. I got a bunch of rods holding my spine together. That all happened to me about 13 years ago. So I was miserable. Like I became a very angry, bitter person. Good thing I was making money. I'm not going to shy on that. Good thing, because I'd come down to Vegas where I live now, because there's no capital gains tax, no state income tax here, and I travel a lot. So it's just, I'm a walking, talking tax write-off now, and I love it. And I love warm weather. I love it here. And so when he approached me with that, I literally said, what do you got? Like, I'm open. I'll look at anything as long as it's legal, ethical, and I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'll look at opportunity. I've owned casinos, construction, land and cattle, real estate, clothing, laundry detergent, fast food restaurants, regular restaurants, like some things I had no clue even how to do. But I found people that were bigger and better. I watched what they did and I copied them. That's literally all I did here when I became a business partner, but I'll get into that. But when he said, he said, Rob, I got a product on PubMed that might interest you. Now, coming from a medical background, and the people, there's some doctors on this call. I see I see at least one physical therapist, a couple nurses. That's where we would go, you guys, to research the drugs and antibiotics we were prescribing to patients. That's what I used to do years ago. It's kind of the golden rule of medicine. And most everything on PubMed is FDA approved, which was cool when I first started medicine. Which wasn't cool, is one of the reasons I walked away from medicine, is I would prescribe a drug for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then I'd be watching TV one night when I had an hour in a week that I actually had time to even watch TV, and I would see a law firm suing a pharmaceutical company because a drug I've been prescribing for 5 or 6 years had been destroying somebody's kidney, liver, or whatever. And that weighed on me after a while. And finally, I just quit. I quit. I walked away from it because I just did not like it. I felt like I was always treating the symptom and never the cause. And maybe some of you guys can relate to that, because that's literally all they're doing. What else is really cool? And I don't know if most of you understand that or realize that 75% of the FDA's budget, where do you think it comes from? It's from big pharma. 75% of the FDA budget comes from big pharma. To me, that just reeks corruption everywhere. Maybe that's just my opinion. And so I pulled out my cell phone right in front of this doctor. I didn't like him right off the bat because I didn't like anybody. I didn't like myself. And so I surely didn't like him. But he was confident when he approached me. A little like he knew who I was. I did not know who he was until he introduced himself. Then I knew who he was. He was in charge of continuing education for every doctor in the state of Montana that practiced in the same scope that he did. And his practice was in the top 1% in the United States. So I knew who he was, but I did not personally know him. Only reason I listened to him is because he had credibility. That's literally the only reason I listened to him. Like I said, I didn't want to be his business partner, blah, 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 but I was going to hear him out. So I had a little bit of conversation. I literally pulled out my cell phone as he was talking. I don't even know if I was paying attention to him. And I went to Google and I just typed pubmed.gov. I looked at him, I go, Doc, what's the name of your product? He's like, what? I go, what's the name of your product? And he looked at me and he saw PubMed on my phone. He's like, oh, wow. And I go, yeah, what is it? And he told me, he spelt it. I would have slaughtered his spelling probably. And I typed it in. I didn't think anything was going to come up. When I hit search, I honestly didn't think anything was going to come up, because a lot of times in business, people will approach me and I will call them out on something and they fail miserably. And that's okay. They might be good people, but it's not a good thing, right, for me. And so I didn't think that was going to come up. Yeah, 16 studies came up when I hit stage. What blew me away, remember I talked this, almost everything on PubMed is FDA approved. What really, really blew me away is this was an all-natural product. Guys, to this day, I've still not found an all-natural product on PubMed by name. Now there's about 30 studies on PubMed, right? About 8 years ago, there was 16. And 14 of those 16 studies were done by third-party outside sources. What do I mean by that? That meant it wasn't this company doing that, or the doctor that started his company. That wasn't their studies. 14 of the 16 had nothing to do with this doctor that started my company. They had to do with like Harvard, Ohio State, the American Heart Association, the National Institute of Health, LSU, TCU, VCU, Duke, Washington State, Oregon State, universities up in Canada, over in Europe, Netherlands. What I loved about that is these outside sources, these third-party sources who had nothing to do with this doctor or this company, were spending millions of their own dollars to prove what this one product was doing from a medical standpoint. So that got my attention. I go, wow, there's something here. Wasn't excited about it, but there was something there. I said, well, that looks good, Doc. I go, what else can you tell me, though? I got to go. It was this time of year. I've been a partner in this company about 8 years, a week ago. So it was this time of year. And I'm busy, like 3 of my 11 companies, this is my busiest time of year from 2 to 3 months, like swamp. And so, I mean, we just kept having a conversation, chat with them. I was like, what else can we talk about here really quick? And I go, what else can you tell me, Doc? I gotta go. He goes, well, I am publicly traded. I go, you're on the stock market? He goes, yeah. Guys, I was more excited when he told me he was on the stock market. Why? Because now I know he came and lied to me. I just said, what's your ticker? I just wanted to research his company's financials. The number one thing I wanted to look at is that I wanted to research his financials. And then I want to see employees, what kind of employees did it have, how many employees did it have. Then I really want to know, was this a global type company that he was offering me, or was it pigeonholed to a certain demographic? Like, a little coffee shop in a little town. Like, I mean, you're not going to make any money out, right? I wanted something that was global because 4 of my biggest companies were global. And I only did that because, I mean, one of my companies, I did incredibly well in Asia and the UK. And some of my companies do good in South America. It's just, the only reason is because I wasn't really great at anything. But I thought if I'm taking a hit in Asia, I might be doing good here in the US. If I'm taking a hit here in the US, maybe I'm doing good in Asia. Like I just always kind of had a backup plan. I never thought, excuse me, guys, that I was really great at anything. Then I had a family, right? I had 3 sons. Well, 2 when I saw this, my other son passed away, and a wife, right? And 400 some employees. Like a lot of people depended on me. So I was always kind of afraid of making a poor decision, but I still jumped and went every time. I would never let my brain talk me out of going after something, right? And so, conversation, he gives me the stock ticker. I shook his hand, started to walk away, and he goes, I go, anything else? And he goes, well, Rob, I need you to watch an ABC Primetime Investigative Report. I go, like TV? And he goes, well, yeah. And I go, man, Doc, I don't even watch TV. Like I've never watched my TV show one time. And I've had my daughters watched it. I just never watched it. And I said, really? Handed him my phone. He pulled up this ABC Primetime Investigative Report of the doctor and the product that was all over PubMed on this company. ABC News went to investigate because this doctor was making some medical claims that were so far-fetched in the medical field that it was ridiculous. ABC News heard about it. They went to do a primetime special and basically shut this doctor down. That's exactly why they went down. And so he pulled it up on my phone. I shook his hand and walked away. Thanked him for his time. So I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Let me watch this. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. I'm busy. I got my truck. I hit play. And I watched about 6, 7, 8 minutes of an ABC Primetime Investigative Report. Millions of people watching that night. And what they showed was John Quejones, the ABC News reporter, was sent down to Colorado to interview Dr. Joe McCord. Spell it exactly the way it sounds, Joe McCord. Well, they go down and interview Joe because if you've heard of free radicals, now that's Dr. Joe McCord. And you guys, he's been nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine 4 times, what I'm talking about right now. He's kind of the grandfather of anti-aging. And I knew when I was in medicine, this doctor was doing something, but that was important, but I really didn't look or check or whatever, right? And so that's like even when I was in medicine, when these pharmaceutical reps would come in and say, hey, prescribe that, prescribe this, prescribe that. Man, if you came to see me in the emergency room, a lot of times I'd do my exam on you and everything like that. And then sometimes I'd go back and jump on a computer for a minute. And I'd look at a drug that I was going to prescribe that maybe this pharmaceutical rep said, hey, and I'd see if there's any contraindication, blah, 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 blah. Go about, prescribe it, and hopefully it would work or do something. Well, I watched about 6, 7 minutes and it kind of blew me away. I'll be honest with you, because I didn't think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be really, really bad. But they interviewed Dr. Joe, and they brought other doctors in to even be a part of the conversation. And he just started talking about free radicals, guys. And free radicals are basically what kills over time. It's a disease and toxin that come into your body that kills over time. And free radicals cause oxidative stress. What's that? Oxidative stress is our aging process. That's how we age, right? You bite an apple, set it on the counter. What color is that apple tomorrow? Right, that's brown. That's oxidation. That's what happens to our body from the inside out. And in the history of the world in medicine, there was really nothing that would really combat that at really any level. All my years in medicine, I would push my patients to take antioxidants, like like blueberries, even some red wine, vitamin C tablets, broccoli, blah, 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 blah. Well, the medical industry is known for well over probably 20 years that an antioxidant to a free radical, which causes oxidative stress, is only a 1-to-1 ratio. You guys got 6 trillion plus free radicals in your body every day. 6 trillion. So if you're not taking something that's millions per parts per second, you'd have to eat over 11 pounds of blueberries in one day to have a tiny, 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 tiny effect. Over 100 vitamin C tablets to have a tiny, 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 tiny effect. man, I didn't even have time to hardly eat sometimes. I was so damn busy. Nonetheless, sit down and consume 11 pounds of blueberries and still learning how to walk. And I would have done anything at that point, guys. Like I was still learning how to walk. They thought I was never going to walk again. So I was going to do whatever I could to prove them wrong. And so I was watching this and it was impressing me more and more. I was hoping it wouldn't because I didn't want to be this guy's business partner, you know. But it got to a point where this Dr. Bruce basically just said, let me go prove it to you. They literally take the camera crew in tow with John Quinones. They walk across the street, basically to the University of Colorado. They go up into this little independent lab and they stuck a needle in John Quinones' arm. I'm thinking they're going to do a lab test on national TV in front of millions of people. This is not going to go well for this doctor. That's what I thought. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't go well for him, I'll be honest with you, because I didn't want to be anybody's business partner. I had money. I didn't care if I woke up the next day. So being healthy really didn't matter to me because I hated my life. But I was still kind of an entrepreneur. So I still had I was looking at that, which is kind of pathetic, right? I couldn't stand my life, but I was still always looking. Maybe I was looking for something that would maybe help me change my life a little bit. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. Because I needed a change. Like I know I needed a change because I was going down a very bad path, mentally. And so I'm just watching it and I saw that and I drew his blood to just get a baseline. And what they did, guys, was a T-bars test. You can get that test in almost any hospital in the country. It's fairly expensive, but it measures your oxidative stress levels in your blood, right? They do a baseline, lab tests come back. They show millions of people that night that John Quinones is way up here at the top of the graph. You want to be down here like that of a newborn child, not way up here. Because oxidative stress, you guys, kicks in around 18, 19 years of age. Easiest way to explain that to you, when you're born, these light switches are turned on in your body and they're fighting disease and toxins all the time. And as you get older, around 18, 19, those light switches start to flicker once in a while. 20, 30, 40, flicker even more, shut off even a little bit, come back on, blah, blah, blah. By the time you're 60, the light switches are turned off. And that's when you see people's health really start to go down. Now I'm going to be 59 in 2 months. I'm in by far the best shape of my life. I do have a 6-year-old daughter, so you might question my sanity there a little bit. My daughter's tough as nails, guys. My daughter pulled out a tooth last night with the needle nose pliers. She's 6 years old. Like I fought her, chased her around the house with them damn needle nose pliers for about 2 hours. She was, Dad, that tooth's coming out. And when my daughter's going to do something, she does it. I'm watching her. I look, I see a little bit of blood. And she popped that dang thing out. Like ripping off a Band-Aid quick on a lot of hair. She did poof, and I was like, holy smokes. Now it's under a pillow because with inflation, she knows that the tooth fairy is going to leave her probably more money because of inflation, right? And so I watched it, got excited. They give this doctor that pill, all natural pill that has about 7 US patents and other international patents, that take it once a day and come back in 30 days and we'll just retest. See what it does. He takes it, leaves, comes back in like 12, 13 days, less than 2 weeks. They go back to the independent lab, same person, draws blood. It comes back and it shows that it decreased his T-bar levels, you guys, his oxidative stress levels by 45% in 12 days. Now, as a medical professional, post-medical, like years ago, that blew me away because there was nothing out there that would do that. So what I first saw, now some of you guys might have saw product or what I just heard, wow, my family members all need to be on this because you guys, oxidative stress is linked to everything. You could Google diabetes and oxidative stress, cancer and oxidative stress, heart disease. The #1 killer in the world by far, what's one of the greatest causes of heart disease? Oxidative stress. You could literally Google any disease process and oxidative stress, and you'll see a major link or major cause, some way, somehow. And then there wasn't really anything that would really combat that, right? I saw that and I was like, holy crap, man. And I saw 45%. I called the doctor back right away. I said, Doc, can we meet tomorrow? He goes, where? I go, Helena. Helena, Montana is about halfway from where I lived and he lived, about an hour and a half for both of us. And that's where I was going to meet him. I said, but I'm going to have some questions for you. So just be ready. And I kind of jokingly, sarcastically, because I was going to do my research, guys, when I left. And I was hoping to find something I could tell this guy no. I was going to get that product from some way, somehow. My mom was newly diagnosed with breast cancer about 5 months earlier. I was going to put her on that product. My other 2 sons were college athletes. They were going to be on that product. And I was still learning how to walk, right? I was still getting there. I was going to be on that product. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would have bought that for all my family members. Well, I met him in Helena the next night. I met him at this little sports bar across from the college there. It's kind of the only place that I could get in and out and just answer my questions. And I got to go. I'm busy. Like, remember, I was busy this time of year. And I show up at that little sports bar and we started to have a conversation. And I walked right up to that little buddy bar. He's sitting down with his wife. And I go, Doc, I got 5 questions for you. I'm busy, but can you answer these? He goes, what do you got, Rob? I go, how many employees you got in this thing right now? He goes, Rob, I don't have any. holy crap, I had over 400 and I was ready to kill half of them every day. Like I was so burned out with people. When he said that, I was like, wow, green check. Now, if I'm looking at a company to buy, invest in, or even take over, because I've done all three, there's things that you look for, right? And this is just common sense stuff that I was looking at. I really wanted to know, how many employees am I going to be dealing with here? Because I was so burnt out with employees. When he told me none, green check. Number two, could you imagine owning a business, make as much money as you want and not have to pay employees, or the drama and all the headache and blah, 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 blah. You know, because I thought, well, there might be something here. What's your inventory, Doc? He goes, Rob, I don't have an inventory. I go, wait a minute. The National Institute of Health did about a 10 million, 10-year study on your product. And when that study was complete, that's the only natural product in the world proven to extend life. And you can still say that to this day, legally say that. Like, this is the only thing that combats oxidative stress at that level. Like, you should have warehouses full of this stuff. So I thought that was really dumb from a business standpoint, right? My clothing company alone, I have about a $750,000 of inventory all the time. Like, because if you want a pair of pants and I don't have the pants in stock, and I don't make a sale, I don't make money. So I thought you should have warehouses full of this stuff. He goes, Rob, I don't have to. I go, what do you mean you don't have to? How do you get it? He goes, well, I got a distribution center that handles all that for me. I go, they do all that? He goes, yeah, they take care of everything for me. Whoa, green check number two. Third question. Now this is crazy, but what's your overhead? I had over $200,000 a month overhead. You can imagine the stress and heartache I was going through on an everyday basis. What's your overhead, Doc? He goes, well, $100 a month, maybe 200 at the most. I go, that's your overhead? He goes, yeah. And I go, well, then how many hours a week you put into this thing? He goes, about 5, 6, 7 hours a week, maybe. He goes, I did more than that, Rob, my first 3 years in this company as a partner, but I'm winding down. I want to sell my practice, and I want to retire by the time I'm 60, which he did do with the help of this company, guys. And why do I say that? Because all my years in medicine, I never even met a doctor to retire. Like, I know if doctors have retired, but I personally never knew one. When I ran the medical department at the state prison in Montana, right out of college, there was a doctor that was working for me, was 80-some years old. I had multiple doctors working for me over the years I was there that were over 80. That's crazy. Like, one had a heart attack and died in the exam room seeing an inmate. At 80, he was probably 86, 87. Still practicing. I just never saw it. And I was like, whoa, okay, then how much a month are you making in this part-time gig? You know, I make about 10 grand. Are you making about 120,000 a year working part-time in this? Like 4, 5, 6? Yeah, he goes, yeah. And I was getting ready to cry bull on that. And he pulled out a legal document. Whoever got you in this call, have him show you that legal document. And it had all the numbers on it. It had maximum incomes, minimum incomes, average incomes, even the average time it took to get to those incomes. And I was looking at that thing and I go, where do you sit? Like, where do you sit on this? He goes, I sit right there. And I go, what I'm looking at says around 13 grand a month income average. You know, I'm less than average. I only make about 10. I go, you can't be doing this on your own. He goes, oh, Rob, I got about 1,700 medical professional doctors across the world. I go, you are global. I like that. You're a global company. He goes, yeah, I got doctors all around. They're my business partners and other business partners around the world. We just work together. And he said it like it was no big deal. Guys, nobody ever helped me get anywhere in life. Like, I've grinded myself, right? And I failed so many times along the way. I was like, are you kidding me? You got people that have actually done this, that have the background, they're actually helping you with? And he goes, well, yeah. I go, put somebody on the phone with me right now then. He's like, what? I go, call somebody right now. He called the guy in Cleveland, Ohio that day. Guy gets on the phone with me. He's 6 years younger than me. I'm so damn competitive. This guy gets on the phone with me. I ask him the same 5 questions: inventory, overhead, all that stuff, employees, all about the same answer. I go, how many hours a week you working this? He goes, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 hours a week. I have personally known this guy for 8 years. I'll tell you what, the last 3 or 4 years, I haven't seen him put 1 hour into this business. Not one. But I guarantee you guys, I know at that time when I met him, I know that he was making way more than $10,000 a month. I'm talking way more than $10,000 a month. And when he said that, remember, this is publicly traded. If one of these guys would have lied to me and I would have found out about it, I would have ate their lunch. I would have came after them. I would have felt like they were wasting my time and I would have came after them. Legally, I would have came after them. And I asked this Scott guy 2 questions because, guys, I know in business you'll take a hit. I don't care what business you're involved in. You will take a hit at some point. I go, this company takes a hit. Does this guy got my back? Because he's a pretty big deal. He came right back at me, and this statement completely changed my life. He goes, Rob, I'd love to have you as a business partner. I go, really? He goes, yeah, your medical background. He goes, your business background. He goes, Rob, I've seen 2 products from your companies just in Cleveland today. He goes, I know you're successful, dude. I know that. But if you don't want to be my partner after the information that's been given to you, I could care less. I've made more money every month since I've been a partner in this company. If you don't want to be my partner, don't bother me at all. And I was like, and that bothered me when he said that, right? Like I kind of attacked my ego a little bit. And it bothered me. And he goes, but I do have one thing, Rob, that I think you really want, but I don't think you'll ever have it. He was posturing me, and I usually do that on business, right? This guy was posturing me. What I always do to people, he was posturing me. I didn't like him for it. But he said, but I got one thing that I think you really want, Rob, and I don't think you'll ever have it. I go, yeah, what's that? Because I don't like him now, right? Because I got time. Like, what do you mean you got time? Now, I'm deaf, guys. I'm pretty deaf. And I'm on this guy's speakerphone in this restaurant, and there's people over here in our conversation, right? Because I can't hear. Putting the phone up, I can't hear. I have to put it on speaker or earbuds. And I'm yelling at this guy on the phone because I want to make sure he can hear me. And he says, time. And I said, what do you mean time? He goes, well, I kind of do what I want, when I want, wherever I want, with whoever I want. And you will never be able to say that, Rob, with over 400 employees. Matter of fact, you probably won't be able to say that with 2 employees. So good luck with that. And I hated this guy's guts for about 30 seconds. But about 30 seconds, I thought about it and I came back and I said, I'm in. I'm your partner. He goes, really? I go, yeah. And he goes, why? I go, it has nothing to do with your product. Now, you guys, I've got business partners on here because they got involved because of how amazing my products are. Now I have over 30 life-changing products. We've got the #1 collagen in the world. Actually activates your body to even create collagen. Collagen is the most important protein in your body, guys. It's 90% of your eyeballs, right? We're dropping a weight management, weight loss product that's even more than just that. GLP-1, you know, like these people are taking all these prescribed drugs that are freaking, it's dangerous as hell. Side effects up the wazoo. We've got a product dropping in less than 2 weeks that will revolutionize the industry. That's why I just said tonight, I'm watching people's income go from here to here. We haven't even dropped that product yet, but people are so damn excited that they're getting off their butt. And they're actually talking to people and they're actually doing something. And this is a people business and it's predictable, right? People are predictable. So I know if I'm sharing information with enough people, I'm going to find people that want to make more money, that want to be healthier, and that want time freedom. I'm going to find them. Now, there are some that still to this day, after 8 years, and me and my wife are both top earners in this company, that still tell us no. They want to make more money, but they don't want to do this. They want to be healthier, but they don't want to take all natural, patent proven and protected products. They don't want to do that. And they want time freedom, but they'll never do anything to create that time freedom. So basically what they're telling me is they're afraid of what people think about them or fear and doubt. I get the fear and doubt thing. I get that. But that's why you've got people on this call, my other business partners that I have, that just grab onto us and let us walk you through this. There's zero risk to you. There is zero risk. I got a bigger risk than you do. Because if you say I'm your business partner, Rob, and I buy a plane ticket and fly to Tennessee and work with you, that's on me. That's money out of my pocket. I buy that plane ticket. I fly out there. I pay for the hotel. I pay for the food. And then I go sit with you and your wife or you and your husband or whatever. And I start working with you hand in hand and teach you how to be free. I pay for that. Like, I don't get why somebody would say no to that. I really don't. I know why people struggle financially after about 5 minutes of conversation with them, but I still don't get that. And so when that Scott, I said, I'm in, let's do it. He goes, get with Gene, let's go. I hung up, I looked at this Gene dude and I said, get me going. And he goes, well, it's investment. I took out a checkbook, I dated it, I signed it. I said, who do I make this out to and for how much? And he laughed at me. He goes, Rob, it's just like a little credit card, like a PayPal. You got PayPal? I mean, I didn't even have PayPal back then. Like a credit card? I folded my check up, I put it back in my pocket, I handed him a credit card, and I didn't even know it. He asked me a few questions. 5 minutes later, he gives me a card back. So congratulations, we're business partners. Guys, you ran my credit card for $999. $999 to be a business partner in a company that's publicly traded, so we can't lie to you, that's ringing the closing bell for the stock market twice in the last 4 years. Our stock has about over doubled in the last 6-7 months. We've got 20 million just sitting in the cash reserve bank, debt-free, backed by the 2 largest investors in the world, the 2 largest banking institutions in the country, that looked at my company a few years ago and said, holy crap, you guys are so far ahead of medicine. We want to be a part of this. Here's a boatload of money. Let's go make it happen. But we still maintain controlling interest. If you want to own your own business, because that's most of the American dream, and I'm going to tell you right now, the average business to start in the US right now, prior to COVID, was about 80 grand. And that gets you little to nothing in business. That's like a kiosk in a mall. 80% of those businesses don't even last 3 years. Only 1% of the businesses started in the United States last over 10 years. Only about 1%. It's tough, guys. The government does not want small businesses to be successful because they want to take half. They want to take half of your income so they could go give it to these countries that hate us all the time. Like, I am not anti-government, but what the hell have they really done for a long? Like, I'm just watching what they do with our money. It drives me nuts. Like, my wife went to groceries today. Guys, we make boatloads of money, but I still budget. It could go away tomorrow. Well, I've got 40 some streams income coming. I'm not stupid. Like, with these guys, like anything can happen. She went in and she came out with 2 little bags from a grocery store today in Las Vegas, Nevada. And she put it down and I looked at the receipt. And it was like $44 and some change. She bought some plums, some some macaroni and cheese stuff that my daughter likes for lunch, little tiny packet things. 2 potatoes, not a bag, just 2 because of the dinner she was making tonight, and a couple other little things, $44. Like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I look at people because I know what we do financially. I look at people and like, how do they make it? How do most people make it right now in the United States of America? Guys, 67% of the people prior to COVID didn't even have access to $1,000. That is a fact. 45% prior to COVID. It's way higher than that now. These last 3 or 4 years have been horrible. 45% prior to COVID had access to nothing. Zero. Guys, you live in the United States, even though it's been a freaking hell on wheels for a while, there's still free enterprise out there. And it doesn't take money to make money. That's such bullshit. Guys, I talk to people every day. I speak at Advance. I counsel people with money, business. It takes guts. Everybody in this call has a cell phone. There's a junior high school down from where we live in Vegas. I have not seen one junior high school student that does not have a cell phone. Do you know how many friends that I have that are millionaires plus and built businesses just off their cell phone? It takes getting out of your comfort zone and quit listening to the naysayers and the Johnny Donut people down the street, like they're usually your neighbors or relatives, that you come to them with a goal or a dream, or I want to try this, and they poo-poo it because they don't have the guts to go after it themselves. So they try to suck you back like crabs in a bucket. It's human nature. Happened to me all the time. Oh, Rob, that casino will never work. Multi-million-dollar casino. Or Rob, that clothing company, it's so different from everything else. It won't work. Multi-million-dollar clothing company. I quit listening to the people that were never close to where I wanted to be in life. I listened to people that were where I wanted to be in life, and I took their advice. And I listened to them, and I copied a lot of what they did. And so for $9.99, I grabbed onto some multimillionaires in this company. I proved my worth. I said, I'll go do this damn thing. You help me. You never lie to me. I'll never lie to you. And let's go do this thing together. And they said, Rob, go do these 5 things. And in 2 to 5 years, you and Summer will probably be free. Now, I didn't know Summer when I got involved in this. I met Summer about a month and a half later. So I started this on my own with 11 companies and 400 some employees. I worked this for about 5 hours a week for 22 months. And that's the day my daughter was born. When my daughter was born, my wife retired and quit at the age of 39, $150,000 a year job, plus or minus a little bit because of bonuses. And I sold 10 of my 11 companies in about a 5-month span. And we've been free ever since. Now, the guy that taught me how to do this and helped me do this, he said, Rob, I'll help you do this. And I'll plug you into the system that if you just do it, it'll work. But you got to do the system. If you go outside of the system and you try to do something and reinvent the wheel, that's on you. You might have success, you might not. But what I do, what I know, what I teach you works. So if you try to go different, whatever, it might work for you, maybe not. You might have success, you might not. But what I teach you, you will if you follow it. 22 months, we were free, guys. He said, give me 2 to 5 years. I said, I'll give you 4. I'll do what you teach because that beautiful blonde wants a baby. And I was 51 and a half the day that conversation happened. My youngest son was 22. Like, that's starting over. But I felt like that beautiful blonde you guys just saw, she saved my life. And I thought it was the greatest gift that I could ever give her. Even at my age, it's the greatest gift that I could ever give her. Less than a 1% chance it was even going to work. And we were blessed with our little daughter. Her pulls her teeth out with a freaking needle nose pliers when they're loose. Tough as nails. And I said, I'm in, let's go do this dang thing. But I told this doctor, I said, listen, doc, I'm kind of understanding this a little bit, but I'll tell you, if I have to have like little Tupperware parties, that's just not me. I don't even like people right now, and I'm not a Tupperware kind of guy. Like, I'm not a fingernail. I'm not gonna paint my nails. I'm not gonna put a bunch of plastic out there and slap some lids on them. I have a hard enough time finding the lids for our Tupperware at our house now. Nonetheless, have a party. And he said, Rob, did I try to sell you anything the last 2 days that we talked? I go, honestly, you just shared information with me. He goes, can you do that? I go, how? He goes, just tell your story. Me and my wife just told you a little bit about our story. He said, tell the company story. I told you we launched as a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, guys. Debt free, over 200 million last year. Debt free, rang the closing bell for the stock market. Can't lie to you. I saw all of that. I said, that's all I got to do. And then he goes, then just tell them how they get paid. I go, how do they get paid? Guys, you can literally get paid every day. Like, you can get paid every day. On average, about 4 or 5 different ways every Friday. And there's 3 ways on the 15th every month. And the 4th way, when you look at that legal document, and our new financial statement will be coming out anytime. Because we're waiting, I think, through October to come out with that, because of some changes that we made that were for the better. And so I think they're waiting for the full year since they did that. And that's why it's around October. We'll see that. It might come out any day, but I'm just going to tell you, I know around October. And so that 4th way was really what got me excited, because it gave me access to all the top multimillionaires in this company. What does that mean? Guys, if you could make a penny off of every can of Coca-Cola that's opened up in the world today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, that means every time somebody opens a can of Coke in the world, you get paid a penny. Would you say no to that? Even if you had nothing to do with almost any of that sales or that distribution, would you say no to that? No, nobody with common sense would say no to that. Did you know that 4% of our global sales, global revenue sales, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, all of that, all around the world, what this company does every month, 4% of that goes into a global pool, and they start giving you shares of cash out, shares of gross global revenue. Way better than profit sharing. Way better than profit sharing. Me and my wife right now get around 4 shares. The shares around 1,000 to 1,200 a month. Just for that, that's that 4th way. So I knew that even all these other guys, they're like my business partners. They're probably going to help me. They're probably going to give me the ideas how they got there, maybe even faster than them. Because we all reap benefits when we're all successful. We're all helping. We all reap the benefits. I think it's the most amazing form of business, because you got people that have actually done it, grabbing onto you and saying, let me walk you through this dang thing. I know where the minefields are. We won't step on any. I've stepped on them all for the first couple of years, right? I know where they're at. We'll avoid them. They're out there, but we'll avoid them. We'll just keep going and go live a life. Like, when you look at the legal document, our positions, it's around a $40,000 a month income. We have other positions in this company. They don't allow that anymore, but we have other positions. So we live a great life, guys. All I did was I took a chunk of the money I made here, because I didn't need that money to survive. I had all my businesses at the time. I just took a chunk of it and I reinvested it into other things that were going to keep giving me returns on my investment, creating assets, not liabilities, right? It's easy to make money once you understand money. Most people don't understand it because they don't teach it in school. If your parents don't know how to do it, they sure didn't teach it. College, they didn't teach it. So if you've never been taught it, you don't know how to do it. And I do the stock market. It's always iffy up and down all the time, right? I've made a lot of money in stocks. I've lost money in stocks. I've made money in real estate. I've lost money in real estate. I've just always been happy here. I have fun here, and it changed me. When you start helping people get what they want out of life, you're automatically going to get what you want by default. And when you help enough people and they start reaching out to you on an everyday basis, thanking you, my heart started to beat again, because I had no heart 8.5 years ago. And my heart was gone. I didn't like people. I didn't trust people. I didn't want to be around people. I'm shocked that my wife fell in love with me the minute we saw each other. Maybe because she fell in love when she saw me, but I thought after she gets to know me, because I was so bitter and angry, she'll kick my butt to the curb. And I was honestly kind of hoping that, because I was so afraid of getting hurt. But she never. She grabbed onto me, and we've been together, and we do this. You heard her. We do everything together, literally everything. We've been all over the world. My daughter, who's 6, has been all over the world, paid for by this company. If you like to travel, I've got an Alaskan cruise coming up. I'm going to Bahamas in a month and a half. I just got back from Dominican Republic. There's people on this call that were in Croatia, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Italy with me a year ago, almost to the day, all paid for by this company. You go out, you share information. I've got products that help you with your energy. I've got products that you can help your collagen. This is new hair growth on me. Don't laugh at that. When you have over 400 employees, you have a tendency to rip your hair out. I drink my collagen. I use my own shampoo and conditioner, right? I take stuff that helps me sleep better. It's all natural. When I get up, I take stuff. I'm a walking, talking tax write-off. Wouldn't you like to make an extra 30 grand a year and keep almost all of it because of the tax write-offs? I do. and I make way more than that. But there's tax write-offs that are all legal. If I could keep my money instead of giving it to these idiots called our government, I will. I'll pay it. When I send it to my accounting firm, and I've had the same accounting firm for 20 some years, they say, Rob, you owe this, I'll pay it. I have no qualms about that. But if there's ways around it that I don't have to pay it, I won't. I'd rather put gas in my car and buy plane tickets, travel around the world and in this country to help other people. Because I found that when you help other people and you give and give and give, and I didn't really expect a lot in return, it fixed me, it helped me. But you know, my life became so much happier and better because of doing that. I wasn't a giver for many years, guys. In business with 400 some employees, man, I was pulling a knife out of my back every day. That's why I became so bitter. And then your family members start dropping, you start getting divorced and you're paralyzed. Yeah, my life was hell. This business fixed me. That's why me and my wife pay it forward every day. Every day. I do a meeting like this every day. Maybe with just one person or 50 or 60 or 100 or 200 every day, because I'm paying it for. We've got the life that we've always wanted. I think I'd be a pretty crappy person if I just turned my back on the people that asked me for help. So get with the person that got you on this call. I'll be available for about an hour tonight. If you're ready to get going, 250, 350, or yeah, 250, 350 or something like that, or 999. You get more products than what it costs you to get involved. You're going to get a website that's built in your name that gives you access to millions of dollars worth of products sitting in a warehouse, all ready to ship for you. You don't have to buy it or anything like that. It's all sitting there ready to go. This company takes care of payroll, research and development, launching countries. Everything that I hated in conventional business, this company takes care of for me. They take away all my headaches. All I do is I share information and I help people build this. Everything else is taken care of for me. For a $250 investment that you can write off on your damn taxes, I use all my products, most of them, every month. At the end of the year, I write that off on my taxes. For you business partners that are not my business partners yet, if you use shampoo, you're not writing your shampoo off on your taxes. I do. I drink energy drinks, all natural. You know, anybody's got autistic child, PTSD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, anything. Go look at the studies. Go look at the testimonies. Go look at the research. This stuff works. We're a total healthcare company. And now we're getting into the weight loss, weight management field with an all natural product. It's exploding already and it hasn't even launched. I expect our income to literally double in the next 12 months because of what's happening. I love you all. You guys get your any questions you have or any concerns you got, get those questions or concerns answered. I'd love to help you. If it's not for you, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but that's on you. But don't ever come up to me if you see me anywhere and whining me about money, your health, or not having any time, because I don't want to hear it. I just shared with you all 3 ways to get that. And if you're too good for that, that's on you. That ain't on me. I did my job and I shared what I was told I was supposed to do. Go help people. If you don't grab onto that, that's on you. But don't ever whine to me about any of those 3 things, because I have no sympathy for that. Zero sympathy. When you've been shared a way that could help you get what you want and you turn your back on that, that's probably why you're struggling a little bit. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying that's probably what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. That's what got me in this company. Maybe that's what will get you here too. Love you all. You guys have an amazing night.